Nuclear war breaks out, this could be the end for them.
Blood for blood.
Rockets over Tel Aviv. Military base underneath a hospital. I mean, like, who does that? You guys ready for nuclear summer? Sorry, I'm about to go scorched earth. Too real. Okay. Let's just start with a moment of silence for the shareholders at BlackRock. If nuclear war breaks out, this could be the end for them. You know, it's really a gamble what they do. So let's pray for them. Let's pray for them. They're also my sponsors. Here's a hot take. I don't like nuclear war, okay? I think it's bad. Listen, this is open dissent, right? You know, I welcome different opinions, but, no, there's no but. I don't like war. I don't like war in general. I'm just generally not a fan of war or violence. And I never want to be the one cheering war on, you know, even though all my Congress people do it. So I'm letting you know that I'm fighting a war within. I'm trying to find the restraint from those little tingles of joy of watching rockets over Tel Aviv. I'm trying to find the little restraint because I know I don't want to have these feelings of like wishing any kind of violence or, you know, destruction on any people. So I urge everybody to practice having empathy for people who you may not like. And Tel Aviv was bombed this weekend, and 37 raves had to be canceled. You know, thousands of people with dual citizenship had to go to their other country of origin. And I don't know if you know about the Israeli government, but they put their people in danger. Apparently, they built a military base underneath a hospital. I mean, like, who does that? Right? Like, this whole time in Gaza, Israel would just bomb things, be like, Hamas is there, Hamas is under the hospital, Hamas is under the school, Hamas is under that child right there. Like, they would do literally all of that. And it turns out every accusation is a confession. It's reported that there's a military base under one of their giant hospitals in Tel Aviv. Is Israel Hamas? Oh my God. My mind is blown. That's not a good metaphor to use right now. But by the way, if you also get upset that I'm making jokes about Tel Aviv getting bombed, just remember, that's where my grandma's from. My grandma's from Jaffa, which is now called Tel Aviv. And so how do you think I feel watching rockets being, you know, blown into my hometown that I can't visit? How do you think I feel? You know? I think really what we learned in the last few days was that turns out Netanyahu was right. This whole time, he was like, Iran's gonna bomb us. And look at what's happening. Look at you can't argue with that. Netanyahu was right. He's like, Iran's gonna bomb us. And we're like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, Iran's gonna bomb us. We're like, no, come on. He's like, Iran's gonna bomb us. And then it turns out all he had to do was bomb them first in preemptive self-defense. And the audacity of Iran to bomb back. People are saying, like, wait a second, if Iran was gonna bomb you, why would you bomb them first? That's not self-defense, that's an attack. Yes, if time moves forward. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's the paradigm that you're operating in. But what if Netanyahu's in the reverse paradigm where time is backward? Then everything makes sense, right? Because this whole time you're like, why is Israel bombing Gaza? Why are they bombing Lebanon? Why are they bombing Syria? Now why are they bombing Iran? It's because if you look all the way down the line, or earlier in history, in his version, it's because eventually Israel's economy will crumble because the whole world hates them, and eventually the ethno-state will fall and become an actual democracy with equal rights for all human beings. And that's called Palestine. That's not a threat. I'm saying that's what happened in the past, in Netanyahu's mind. Okay, time in reverse. Okay. Israel attacked Iran on, why am I saying Iran? That's talking like a politician, right? Israel attacked Iran last Thursday. Don't laugh during that part. Now it's like, these evil people. Why were they laughing? People accuse me of editing in laughter. But what they don't know is that I'm telling the audience when to laugh. So let's do that part again. Iran! So, they're like, how is the audience laughing at a time like this? Fucking asshole. So, Israel attacked Iran last Thursday, and they called it Operation Rising Lion. I think a better name would be Operation Aggressive Pussy. But Rising Lion, Operation Rising Lion, that's what Scar called it when he killed Mufasa in The Lion King. And you're like, no, Sammy, he pushed Mufasa off a cliff. That was Falling Lion. Okay, technicality. So Israel launched this preemptive attack on Iran. And now you have all these American politicians like, I stand with Israel. Like, well, not too close, buddy. Of course, Israel kindly offered us an invitation to join in the war against Iran. It was very nice of them. But of course, the United States declined because we're too busy having our hands tied with orchestrating the whole war in the first place. Yeah, if you want proof, this is a real thing. I saw it on the internet. The night that Israel attacked Iran, there was a spike in pizza sales right next to the Pentagon. Yeah, and apparently there's an app that tracks that, and they've measured that happens every time some giant military operation happens that the United States claims not to be involved with. But apparently the Pentagon staff is pulling all-nighters and ordering from every pizza spot imaginable. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because the US government just wants a pizza of the Middle East. You know what I mean? For years, there's been this back and forth with Israel and Iran, right? And every time, Iran has to end up exhibiting the restraint, right? You've seen it. Like, Israel has bombed with inside Iran before, and Iran will like send a bunch of rockets that'll just like do a parade and scare people and nothing will happen. So I thought, okay, Iran's gonna do the restraint thing again, very calm. And then I woke up Friday morning and I noticed that Iran's military has a Twitter account. Yeah, and I checked, it's real. I asked Grok and everything. Iran has a verified military account, and it's all in English, which is quite scary. They know who their target audience is, basically. They're speaking directly to us. And so I woke up the next morning like, oh, Iran's gonna show restraint. They always do, they're calm, you know what I mean? I know so many Iranian people, they're so calm, you know? And then I wake up and I look at Iran's Twitter account and it's like, blood for blood. And I was like, oh shit. It's about to get real, dude. Followed the account. They're just basically talking mad the whole time in English. It's crazy that this is how war is in 2025. Right? Can you imagine like if Japan had a Twitter account in the 1940s? Like Pearl Harbor, do you hear a buzz coming? Like, what? Pray for Japan. It's kind of how it would be, right? Like, if you're familiar with World War II, Pearl Harbor was a preemptive attack because they couldn't work out a deal with negotiations, so Japan felt like they had to attack. You know, that would be like nowadays our politicians would be like, I stand with Japan, you know? And I love Japan, great country. I didn't know them back then, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, how did that whole thing end up for them? Okay, that's bad joke. Iran does not have nukes, okay? They've said it many times. The UN has inspected them. There's not nukes there, okay? Like for years, Israel was like, Iran's got nukes, they're making nukes. And Iran's like, no. America's like, Iran has nukes. And Iran's like, no, we don't. And then they sent in inspectors and they're like, yeah, they got no nukes. And the Ayatollah's like, I told ya. See, everything's gotta have a punchline, right? Because it should the Farcical. Oh, I like that. That's good. That's good. Such an elite reference, though. It's very farcical. You know I love that shit. So Iran, they have a nuclear program, but there's literally no evidence of nukes. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could give the benefit of the doubt to somebody who's claiming that there's weapons of mass destruction in a Middle Eastern country. I don't know if there's ever been any precedent of that we should pay attention to historically, but I'm just gonna do clean slate in my mind. If someone says we have weapons of mass destruction, I'm gonna be like, yup, let's go get them. Iran does not have nukes. They have a nuclear program where they're currently enriching uranium, okay? Uranium, which is one of the possibilities to make a nuclear bomb, but it has to be a certain level of enrichment. I might be wrong about this, but it has to be like 65% enrichment, and they're only at 63, okay? So, okay, they're close, okay, but they're not fully enriched. You know what I'm saying? The irony here is that uranium is an element on the periodic table, and its periodic letter, what do you call it? It's letter? Periodic. Its periodic symbol? That's so dumb. And its periodic symbol is just U, right? Which makes sense. It's typical Israel, always making it about you. Whatever. But we're talking about potential nuclear weapons, okay? Now, why are they called nuclear? Okay, because nuclear refers to the nucleus of an atom. And to make a nuclear explosion, you either have to have nuclear fission or nuclear fusion, meaning you either have to break up a nucleus or you have to merge two nuclei together. And I think this is actually a metaphor for the nuclear family. Because right now, the birth rate in America is lower than ever before. And we don't have the same old traditional family values that we had back when we were actually dropping nuclear bombs in the 1940s. Right? Go nuclear, go nuke. It's like, go nuclear in, go nuclear out. You know what I mean? Nuclear within, nuclear without. What I'm saying is stop tearing apart the nuclear family. That's a message for ICE, actually. Oh, now you're on board. Now you like it. So Iran does not have nuclear weapons, and in fact, they allow their country to be inspected. Israel, on the other hand, does not. Did you know that? Israel does not allow, and so again, I'm against nuclear war, okay? And I guess it makes sense in theory that not everybody should have nuclear weapons. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I should have a nuclear weapon. You know what I mean? I get a little hangry sometimes. You know? So I get it. Not everybody should have a nuclear weapon. And then you're like, well, Sammy, then we need somebody to decide who gets a nuclear weapon and who doesn't. I'm like, okay, logistically that makes sense. Well, then who should it be? The country that bombs the most other countries in the world? No, it should be like Switzerland or something. You know what I mean? Like, it should be like Hawaii, you know? Like, I think Hawaii should decide who gets bombed and who doesn't. Right? Mahalo. We know at the end of the day that, like, this whole conquest of the Middle East goes beyond one country or one government or one political party. It goes deeper into the Western world's economic imperialism of the world. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's not just about the Middle East. You see it, you see it in Asia, you see it in Ukraine, like you see it in all these other places in the world. And in this particular instance, we're fixated, or we claim to be, caring about uranium. The irony here is that when uranium is oxidized, it actually appears as a black rock. Was that a truth bomb or was it nuclear?